Hi there, I hope this moment finds you well. Welcome to Elida Art and Spirit Studio. I wanted to document and share my first junk journal. I think in the last 7 or 8 months I discovered the craft and truly fell in love with the possibilities, especially this particular diamond cross stitch binding by Margarete. I'll put a link to her tutorial in the description. And given that I love lace and texture and color, I think she just represents my exploration of what I already had in my own home as an artist and what I source from my local op shops, thrift stores, because it's so much fun finding all these treasures that you don't normally find in other stores. And this particular lace, I upcycled it from an old quilt, and that's also just quilting material, and this beautiful neutral material I've had for years in my sewing scraps. Don't remember where I actually bought it from. I ran out of materials, so my tie is a little bit short, but it's okay for now. I mean, it's been a learning curve and all my mistakes are just wonderful memories, and she's abundant to look at. Because I designed the cover first before considering how to create a tie, I needed to come up with an idea, which was using a broken jewelry piece, and instead of hiding the stitching, I decided to create this dongle, and that's beautiful velvet feeling scrapbooking paper. I eventually got a die cutting and embossing machine, because once you fall in love with the craft, you can't help yourself. You want to play with all the possibilities. And that was a stencil over tea dyed paper. So that was just a printable that I had that I created journaling space in. This is a book page this book belongs to. And that's a beautiful envelope I found in an op shop that's waiting for some ephemera in there. So my first signature I created out of using PVA and water mix glue, which I like to put a tablespoon of tapioca starch because it gets rid of the shine and gives it a beautiful feel. So as an artist, over the years I have a lot of sketchbooks with unfinished artworks, which I decided instead of them sitting in my drawers forever, I might as well demolish them and have fun creating my junk journals with. And it's given me a lot of writing space. So that's an adult coloring book, and that is a napkin. I fussy cut one of my drawings in there. I forgot to say that I chose to call my first junk journal Emerging Goddess, because there's a lot of females throughout the journal and something that I love to draw. And that's a fancy punch. And again, just me playing around with the possibilities, and I love scrunching up paper in the momigami system. I don't think I dyed that lace. It came in that color, and so these are die cuts that I enjoyed playing with, and I found a lot of beautiful punches in op shops for a cheap price. So I thought, yep, the universe is supporting me in my creative endeavor. This is old wallpaper. I'm still trying to figure out what my style is, and that will take some time and practice. One of my sketches that I tea dyed and used splatters of yellow ink, which creates a lot of journaling space. Tuck that in. And that's just some washi tape, and it says enjoy the journey. That's a bit of tulle and Adamante on one of my sketches. Be all that you can be. So that's also a die cut of this piece of material. I believe was for a tablecloth, but it was too thin and I repurposed it creatively. Be you, the world will adjust. I'm also all about inspirational quotes, love and light and all that goodness to help you enjoy a better life. This was a magazine page that I used to create a wonky envelope in the early days before I had my die cutting machine. I was having fun doing things manually. That's just special paper with some washi tape on it, lots of writing space, and this was a dry wet wipe that I used to clear up an ink project, and I absolutely love the textures and the colors, and I stiffened it with PVA glue. That says your joy is contagious. As you can see, because of the tapioca starch, there's no shine on either side. That's a hidden paper clip that I've created out of a die cut. And love with all your heart. So this corner pocket just has some tea dyed writing paper. And this was wrapped around a bunch of flowers that somebody had gifted me, and because it's so pretty I kept it, and now it's part of my junk journal. That's beautiful special paper. And that's me fussy cutting napkin to create an envelope. The best is yet to come. It's nice to come back to these things years later when you've forgotten what you've put in there and just be pleasantly surprised with beautiful messages. That's a flower that I made from a punch. It's in 3 layers and it has 3 seed beads. Because the binding on this signature is very beautiful, but it looks very messy on the inside, so I had to figure out how to cover it, and I decided to hide it behind my artwork as a centerfold. So that's soft pastel on paper. So I have some more washi tape there, and that's ink dyed lace. It's a top corner pocket. If anyone's familiar with Holy Hobby, they're just memorabilia from my teenage years. A die cut envelope. And that's just small tea dyed writing paper. I had fun dyeing paper with avocado. It is a little bit messy, and if you leave it too long it can get stinky, but it was a lot of fun. So more lace and ribbon over cardstock. It's beautiful lace there. So this is probably one of my intuitive messages that I've written for myself. You can pause and read if you wish to. I'm all about the heart and soul and uplifting messages. So that's the other side of that beautiful colors on the wet wipe. one of my early sketches, and I absolutely love that texture that's come from the tea bags. I'm guessing I must have left, yes, I can see that I've left tea bags on that piece of paper, and it's just giving me that beautiful color variation. So that's the other side of that wallpaper. I've done the same thing here by leaving tea bag overnight, and I've gotten that beautiful dark border around the paper with the special corner punch. And in the early days, just me playing around, creating ephemera for writing. More writing space, not that it needs it, but it's impossible to finish it all. I mean, there's endless hours, days and months I could still be in here creating, but I decided to move on. So sending love your way with an altered paper clip. And this was a lace pocket on an envelope with a waterproof sticker, which matches the colors beautifully. I thought it was fun to create a pocket on the underside flap of the envelope. I love love hearts. You'll see many throughout the journal. And that's just from an old notebook that I've had for years. Future writing space if I decide to journal more at some point in my life. So these are inspirational cards that are repurposed, and it says, I choose love no matter what. And this avocado dyed envelope has also some childhood memorabilia, as well as doily punch, which I also found in an op shop, and that was a happy moment. This belly band, I decided to leave a little space up the top for a pen to go in there because I loved the floral on it. And that's the end of that signature, which I have lace as well, creating a tuck spot. My second signature, I used yellow flowers that I had at the time, and I cut them up as well as tea bags to create this beautiful texture. And there's a pocket here with a handmade envelope that I found the set in an op shop, and it's got beautiful ferns and leaves, and that was a happy moment as well. So this is one of my early ink sketches. I could color her in, I could write all over her, and again my early ink dyeing experiments and tea dyeing. I prefer to experiment and try new things. I don't like doing the same thing over and over and over again. So these are stylized wings from my sketchbook. I went through an angel drawing phase. This applique is from a top that I cut up and turned it into a pocket. Just more writing space. Origami paper, and I've done the same thing here with this sticker. I applied the PVA glue mixed with water and a tablespoon of tapioca starch to get rid of the shine. Just tea-dyed paper with more writing space. It's a die cut from a magazine. That's a spot waiting for another inspirational quote. Shine, believe. From my sketchbook as well. From my childhood, I remember outlining my hand from time to time. I don't know if it's the artist in me leaving an imprint. It's fun. And here I've created a hidden pocket. I don't have anything special written in there, but it's kept in place by this paper ribbon that I folded in half and put my paper doily punch in there with a little resin diamante there, and that just keeps it in place. And there's nothing in this envelope, it's just me having fun with the embossing machine. I put 2 eyelets there and a ribbon to hold my mermaid artwork. And the reason I chose to not attach her, I thought maybe in the future I might want to move her somewhere else, redesign her, frame her, and I don't know if you can see the glitter, which is a lot of fun creating momigami paper with out of watercolor paper because it gives it a beautiful thick leather texture. I guess I can just pop that in later, and that punch is just keeping her in place. So stamps and special memories. There is always something to be thankful for, which is a beautiful reminder. Sometimes our mind can get away with us. In here I have a memory of my son when he was in kindergarten. He brought me home Mother's Day gift, which was a soap pack and a face washer. Now it's my memory for life, and that's a flip up waiting for more decoration. That is a magazine page, and that's a goddess stamp on handmade paper. Let's see, that does open. I don't know if I'll write anything in there. And that's just me having fun with whatever I was into at the time. As we all know Natasha from Treasure Books, I followed one of her tutorials about ironing plastic bags. It was a lot of fun, but it was also a smelly process. So I decided not to continue in the future. But as I love texture, I decided to put this in my journal as a future memento. And I use music paper to just stiffen the ends of it. Again, more embossed envelope, nothing inside yet. Napkin, tab. So I created this little booklet which says Spirit Guide Drawing. 2 seed beads there. And stitched with a sewing machine there. That was a lot of fun. Last year I discovered I could do spirit guide drawings, and I'm lucky enough to have a spiritual community of friends that allowed me to do their spirit guide drawings, and this is one of mine. I accidentally cut into her thinking it was the photocopy. I originally wanted to frame her, but now she's immortalized in my first junk journal. And I think that's what I love about junk journaling. I realize that when something goes wrong and you try to fix it, it ends up being a lot more better than you imagined. It can be way more beautiful than you intended it to be. So it doesn't really matter. Don't get hung up on mistakes in life. Just keep moving forward. Keep trying to make it better. And I have a sentiment here which says, one is always the essence of love. Theatrics cloak the soul in the experience of human form, yet deep within, one is always love. That's tea and coffee dyed. And that's me using magazine pages to create wonky envelopes before I had my die cutting machine. Find your fire. And that says, be the love that you yearn to feel. So this is me of late experimenting with AI, creating images and using my spiritually intuitive quotes, and setting up my Etsy store and having fun creating a new form of expression. This is from a tissue box, a new beginning. Washi tape. That says you are enough. Just writing space, me playing around with the possibilities. And that's a belly band. And I found these beautiful crocheted doilies, flowers, in an op shop and put one there. There's a memorabilia. So this is a book page, and that's just the punch. The page is coming through. I've decided that I don't want to demolish doilies because this one's so beautiful and somebody has spent endless hours in creating it. I've displayed them in a way that they could be repurposed in the future if anybody wanted to, or I wanted to. I do sometimes buy damaged doilies, so I don't feel as guilty cutting into them. That's a hidden paper clip with a magazine page on it and just blank writing space. So because mommy gummy paper is soft and fragile, I decided to create these pockets, and it's a beautiful space for tags, and that's just a pocket made out of circles. And a butterfly sticker. It's a Brad Love heart. So I've done the same thing here, leaving a tea bag on the paper, and that beautiful border outline I absolutely love. And this is a punch that I have just created, a little notebook, which is fun and interactive. That could be coloured in one day. Just more of my papers and so. What you are living is the evidence of what you are thinking. 2010. One of my angel sketches, which also creates more writing space for me. So that's the other side of that beautiful signature. It's a lace flip up, and she's having a moment in life, as we all do sometimes. I must have tried to tea-dye her, even though it hasn't come out very dark, but there's been a transfer of some writing that's been placed on top of her, which I think is very lovely in terms of texture and interest. And this special paper has gold flakes in it, which is beautiful. Again, a lot of space waiting to be written on or sketched upon, whatever the heart desires. So that's a pocket that I created out of a tea bag. Hand cut tag. You can see the sharp edges. In this particular treatment, I added acrylic colors in the PVA glue and water mix so I can get an aged napkin look. And this is an ink dyed stripped of satin. So that's a flip out with a side pocket. This particular sketch had a sketch on the other side, which isn't really part of the emerging goddess theme, but it was too cute. I didn't want to cover it up, and it was part of a 2-page spread of a surreal scene with the 2 rabbits. Maybe she's waiting for that carrot. I don't know. But it's just a fun memory of my days in TAFE and my art and design courses. And I've got 2 pockets in there waiting to be filled. I hope that came through. Again, just more tea-dyed paper with the stencil on it and a belly band that's also been tea-dyed. And this was an envelope I found in an op shop. I absolutely love the scallop edges and was hiding some imperfections with a pocket there. That's just more writing space from one of those drawer liners that smell really nice. This gorgeous stream was part of a gift a friend gave me, and the colors are just perfect in this journal. Just more writing space that's been avocado dyed, and special corner punch. It's from a magazine, Mommy paper, which feels like leather again. I love that feel. And that sentiment says, "Your love has given me great joy and encouragement." This was from an inspirational notebook, and it says, "I will let go of, I am grateful for, I will focus on." The journaling prompts. I punched into this piece of paper and put some lace behind it, and I'm protecting it with vellum paper. That was meant to be a pocket, but I don't want to damage it. And if you're familiar with Abraham and Esther Hicks, I watched her, oh God, maybe 15 years ago. And yeah, it was a beautiful experience, and we were giving these notebooks with lots of inspirational quotes, and that is, "Allow yourself the luxury of believing in the divinity of your own soul," Dr. Wayne Dwyer, if you're familiar with his work as well. I like these uplifting mental reminders because life can be challenging at best. And scrapbooking paper, and this napkin has glitter on it. I don't know if that's coming through. It's absolutely beautiful from this perspective. And so that is a postcard. If you wish to pause and read it, message to myself in the future. And I guess that's what creates meaning for me. When some people say, "Oh, well, what are you going to do with it? It's just junk or scrap or whatever." You make it personally meaningful to you. The things that uplift you, the things that you love, you can just pop in there and have a memento for the years to come. So that's a stamp on a punch, washi tape, lace print, and that says "Cherish." This was packaging material that I turned into a folder. There is nothing sexier than my authentic truth. I hope so, because being an introvert, I don't really like talking for too long. It just starts to feel uncomfortable, but I enjoy creating and experimenting and trying new things. So this is an envelope that I have stiffened with a napkin. The underside of a napkin, that's where it's got some texture through it. That says "Happiness." This beautiful love heart apparently is nail jewelry, which I don't use, but in junk journals, absolutely gorgeous. So that's some type of ribbon or crochet. So this is the the last centerfold, and she's a goddess in her own right. And what I've written here is, "The way one sees and feels about oneself is the way one will interact with life and others. Honorable self-image attracts honor in personal relationships. So basically, if you are good to yourself, you will attract good relationships in your life. And that's just more writing space. That's the other side of the envelope, the flap side. And so when I got my embossing machine and die cut machine, I had a lot of fun playing with shapes and trying to see what the possibilities are, and just more writing ephemera. Okay, growing up with a European background, there was always ladies who knew somebody that could read Turkish coffee. So these coffee stains are actually from a European coffee that's been turned upside down to do a reading. If you wish to pause and read the quotes that I've written in 1994, it just brings back fond memories for me. And being an intuitive, there was always an interest in the unseen and unknown and how it can better our present day reality. This is blue ink dyed lace. I am the loving energy of the universe. Just more writing paper with a tab that's been punched from a magazine. Believe. What do you believe in? In one of the YouTube flip throughs, I saw this beautiful love heart pocket, and I tried to make it myself, and I have embossed it since. I tried to find a pattern for it online, but there wasn't one, so I did one myself. And it's just another one of my sketches. There's a flip out. And that's from a sound healing workshop that I went to with a friend. That was a lot of fun and a beautiful memory, because I think we had a joint birthday at that time. That's avocado dyed paper. Just more writing space. It's a double pocket with the lace here and cardstock at the back. Sending love your way. I do love the Art Nouveau. That's a napkin on paper. Just more writing space. One of my sketches waiting to be colored, or I could write here and get more fancy. So this is a piece of material that's part of my second junk journal. I've decided to create a fun chain link from one journal to the next by introducing a piece of material that belongs to the previous journal or the following journal. So as this is my first journal, that's part of the second, what the second journal is going to look like. And that's just a scene from a page of a book that I've used in some of my projects. And that's me figuring out how to do a writing board. And this bow is a result of me attaching the tie to the book. I didn't think it through properly at the time, but it turned out nicely, I think. And that's just a mother of pearl button. I do love buttons. And I've created a pocket here so I can see the lace. And that's just a trifold that isn't fully finished. But I love the shape and just left it there for another time if I get to it. So that's my emerging goddess. Thank you for being here. Happy junk journaling, and I hope you enjoy the little blessings that are already yours. Bye.